everyone, welcome back to another episode. With me today, I have the wonderful Theresa Thomas. She is an author, a speaker, and an environmental health educator. Theresa, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Philippa.
And the first really easy question is, where in the world are you?
I am in Halifax, Nova Scotia, on the east coast of Canada, so relatively close to UK, and east of Maine in the United States. So we're kind of hanging out there between eastern North America, Greenland, Newfoundland and Labrador, and then we get over to Great Britain.
Lovely.
Across
Do
the
you know what,
pond, as we say.
across the pond, indeed.
Yes.
My geography of that area, my awareness of the geography of that area has grown massively thanks to the musical Come From Away, which is all about
Oh,
Newfoundland and the plains
yes.
at Gander. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So
So,
we're quite a
yeah,
ways from there, but we're near. They have their time
lovely.
zone's half an hour later than ours.
See, I find a half-hour difference really confusing. Like it
Yes.
just feels a bit like just pick an hour, surely. But anyway, we can't solve that. So let's
No.
talk about why you're what you do and why you're here. So,
Yes.
um, what do you do?
Well, my big passion is helping parents with children with ongoing unidentifiable health problems get the toxins out of their bedrooms, particularly, so the children will have great sleeps and have a chance for their bodies to rejuvenate overnight and be healthy and happy families.
That sounds very, very amazing. But also, why do we need this? So, what toxins are we living with that we don't realize?
Well, if we go back to the 50s, there really weren't any. And then by the 1990s, there were 60,000 that we would be exposed to
Wow.
in our lives. And then by 2020, another 80,000. And they're projecting it's going to be 350,000 synthetic chemicals created by the year 2050. So, when I was young, we barely had canned food. Everything was basically, from the farm or whole foods. And so going from foods, and then we have all the wonderful cleaning products that have been created and the fragrance, fresheners and the disinfectants and the synthetic clothing and all of the things that go in our laundry soap. So, and personal care products. So we're exposed all the time. And we haven't really realized it, except that we have these canary people who do come up with allergies, asthma, and then other sensitivities to the environment itself.
It's interesting. So, and obviously, you're focusing on children now. I find it interesting how you say around, sort of in the 70s and 80s. Well, the 50s we didn't have anything. Started period in the 80s. Now, I developed asthma about 7 years ago, and from my point of view, out of nowhere. And one thing we're wondering is like, is it an age thing? I'm in my 40s. Is that just getting
No.
older? And this is where I think the toxicity comes into it. Is like,
Yeah.
maybe there are things I'm not aware of that I'm dealing with.
Yes. And actually, I want to help everybody, but I've been coached that I really have to focus, first of all, on the kids. But anything I say for kids applies to humans of all ages and also to pets. So you might hear, I don't know whether you're hearing this over there, but they're talking about how pets get those plug-ins or the infusers. Well, they get
Yeah.
they get the residue on their fur, then they lick their fur, then they ingest it, and then they get upset stomachs or something. So this is actually happening to us too. And the kids, of course, have much smaller bodies, much more fragile immune systems while they're developing. And so they're the ones that I'm most concerned about, but certainly all of us, so we could look around, and I've got the dream green bedroom, which the goal is that people will have nice dreams at night instead of being coughing or hacking or having earaches or rashes or, difficulty breathing, whatever, all of those things that we have that are so common in our world now. And really, it wasn't that way, and it doesn't need to be that way. Yeah, asthma could be carpeting. I don't know if you have carpeting, but in this dream green bedroom review, I go through pretty well everything. And we start with, what laundry detergent are you using? Does it have a fragrance to it? Is it a very strong detergent? So myself, I got originally sick in 1991 and had about 10 years when I couldn't even go out of my house without a mask on because the car fumes would get me, the perfumes would get me, everything would just make me dizzy and feeling weak and not be able to walk. And so I had to do a radical shift. And number one was the laundry detergent and, of course, all the cleaning products that we use. So it's vinegar and water and fragrance-free laundry detergent. No dryer sheets or anything like that. It's just all, and then going back to natural fabrics as much as possible. Now, I found out this week I'm actually wearing a pair of pants, leggings that have some polyester in it. I have never done that for 30 years. So I'm kind of surprised that I can wear them and nothing's happening.
Perhaps you've built up such resilience that
Yes,
that sort of
well,
thing
and
kind of doesn't affect you anymore.
so as we sleep, that's when our body, the liver and the kidneys and everything, they work to clean out whatever we took in the day. And now what's happening is we're taking so much in, our liver and our kidneys cannot do it. So, and
Right.
even our brains, some of these chemicals go into the brain for people with thin blood-brain barriers. So
Okay.
the body doesn't have time to get everything cleaned out overnight, and then it just starts building up. And in my book, I have a little example of a container ship, and you add all these things onto them. So, you've got asthma with pollens and maybe molds and stuff like that. But the asthma is probably because there's other things that are loading up your body as well. So I think you could actually, by changing certain products and doing different things, you could probably get rid of it, grow out of it.
I mean, that would be lovely.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
super annoying after never having it.
Yes, of
So,
course. Yeah, it's no fun.
so what? So obviously, you said you were ill for quite a long period of time.
Yes.
Um, and was it through removing the toxins in your own environment that you got well, or was it, was there a? Did you embark on a journey to do all this learning? I guess.
It was a big journey because back then in the early 90s it wasn't really heard of. And it happened that in Halifax, we had a problem with one of the hospitals, and almost 1,000 people got sick. So where I
Oh wow.
worked, there were three of us who were sick. We weren't in the hospital, and everybody looked at us as, oh, crazy menopausal women. So that was such a blessing that all these other people got sick because they were very vocal, and then it required a lot of investigation into what went on. And for myself, I had like a sewage leak under my desk, so I was breathing methane and other
Goodness.
things. And then we just moved into this building, so I painted all the pipes with a red lead oxide paint without
Right.
wearing a mask, and we all know that's not very good now, but back then, who knew?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were renovating our home, and then there was also lots of stress. So many things combined, and the load just got bigger and bigger. One day I just collapsed. Yeah. So, it's part of the journey. And I feel like part of my mission to communicate this information is really important. And I keep hearing from parents and others that it's so important now. And, we've got so many young children coming in, and they're going into schools. And as I say about the laundry detergent, at least if your child has fragrance-free laundry detergent, they're not inhaling those fumes because they are chemical fumes that come off our clothing.
Mm.
And, they may be surrounded with kids that are wearing scented products, but at least in their own little space, they wouldn't be having that. And that impacts our thinking as well. So we don't think as well. We don't think as clearly. We can't concentrate. All of those things happen.
I mean, I'm gonna just go back for a moment on what you said about you had a sewage leak under your desk and people were surprised you got sick. I mean, I know the 90s were a bit crazy for all of
Yes.
us, but I mean, surely someone should have gone, maybe this isn't a good thing. But
Well,
was it just a
it
denial?
was a pipe that broke. So they came in and fixed the pipe.
Hmm.
And then they put lye over all the effluent. And that would be sort of the normal way you deal with it.
I mean, the world has moved on from, like I
Yes.
said, I know, like we don't sell lead-based paint anymore, which is a good thing,
Very good
and
thing.
lots of this
Mm-hmm.
thing. But it's interesting as well what you said when you get back to the 50s. So we've gone on this cycle, haven't we, where we lived a very wholesome life,
Yes.
and then of course technology comes along, convenience comes along, and
Mm-hmm.
we go from wholesome and it's kind of chemicals, toxicity, and you look at all the the ailments people have now, there's definitely a trend of not just
Yes.
obesity. I know obesity is a problem because of the sugar, but more childhood diseases, more rashes, more immune system problems.
Yes.
And so, in your mind, the correlation is clearly there between the toxicity and these events.
Yes, definitely. And the other thing is, we've gone to, there's kind of a fear about germs. Well, we have
Mm.
lots of viruses and germs. Our grandmothers used to say, eat dirt, it'll be good for you.
Oh yeah, did plenty of that.
Yes, and now, if your child comes in with dirt on the hands, everybody freaks out. They grab the disinfectant and everything. And about halfway through the pandemic, people started saying, soap and water is just as good for cleaning your hands. And we forgot that, but there's a sort of a fear. Oh no, but the basic soap and water and just
Mm.
washing your hands properly, uh, and the backs of your hands will do it. Meanwhile, we're spraying these disinfectants on the railings of the stairs, and our kids are holding on to that and getting the disinfectant coming in through their hands into their
Mm.
bodies. So, I'm really passionate about this because I really believe that correlation is there. And I know what it's like to be sick and not be able to think or do
Right.
anything physical, and that's just not normal. So when we're
So
when we're at that state, that's a warning bell that there's other things that can be done to change it.
how now, I think, as you say, I see a shift in the world as well. I think we're more aware of the danger of chemicals. I hope there's a going back to playing in the mud like I did as a child because it didn't do me any harm. At
No.
least I don't think it did. And I think there is a bit more awareness, but I
Yes.
don't think, I mean, I definitely wasn't aware of just how many thousands of chemicals we have in our environment.
Yes.
And so obviously I'm shocked. Other people will be shocked. What are people's responses when you go in and have these assessments and kind of go like it all has? Is it ever a case of everything must go because it's all bad? Have you had to do that?
Well, I try to be gentle. I mean, you can't overwhelm people, so it may be there's so much there. We just try and concentrate on reducing what's there and changing one or two things, and that's the other thing I say to people. You can't do everything at once. And in my book, I
Mm-hmm.
start out with the laundry and I say, maybe this is all you can do right now, and it's okay. We can't expect ourselves to do everything, and it depends on the level of concern. I know one family, their child had an allergic reaction to a nut when he was 7, and they started looking into this, and they changed everything in their house. They changed their water, their heating, they got rid of all their carpets. But this is also expensive and time consuming,
Mm-hmm.
so we can't always do everything. So
How do you? I mean, that's obviously a very extreme situation, but how do you go out into the world afterwards, though? So you make a because it sounds like they almost made a clinical environment in their home to avoid this allergy. But of course, you can't walk onto the street, go into shops, and not
no,
and
no, but
without the risk.
if you have that space, then at night you get to repair, right?
Right?
So
Yeah.
then your immune system is strong. So you go out there as your immune system gets stronger, those things don't bother you anymore. And even the food allergies may go away. And some of the food allergies we think are related to how the food is grown. So food that is treated with pesticides. There's some people that think that the gluten allergy is actually an allergy to pesticides that were used when those products were grown. So it's hard to know exactly, but as we detox our own bodies, then we get stronger and we can be out in the world.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
And you
So
might, you
talk.
might go into a store that has heavy perfume. You know how you walk into the store, at least in North America, the very first thing is the perfume counter. I don't know if
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the case
Yeah.
over there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, you might walk in there and plug your nose, but get into the rest of the store and be fine
Right. Yeah.
over
See what you
time.
mean.
And if you're really sensitive, then you might not be able to go into the store at all. So it's sort of it evolves over time.
That makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
how about it feels that once again we're taking action at a local level to solve this problem, but are you involved with any sort of bigger movements to enforce governments to reconsider their rules around producing things around chemicals. Is that something you do as well?
I don't really have time to do that now. When I was sick, we had a group here called the Allergy and Environmental Health Association, and we had 200 members, and we did a lot of things. The nurses union here, from that hospital exposure, they created the No Sense is Good Sense program. And so they made posters that were put up everywhere, and we still have No Sense is Good Sense around the province. We also had a group called Real Alternatives for Toxins in the Environment that worked on getting pesticide use almost eliminated in all public places, but also in residential places. So we don't have people spraying their lawns so much anymore. There's still one product that's approved that we don't agree with, but the way it happened, that's the way it is.
They do so much sometimes.
Yes, yeah. And then I don't know if you've heard about glyphosate. I don't know if they spray
Yeah.
that in UK. Yeah. Well, that's a big, huge problem. And, you know, I may get involved in that eventually. I also want to get involved in getting chlorine out of swimming pools and going to bromine.
Interesting.
So, and I was one summer, I was at a resort and they had bromine, and I was so glad because I could go swimming 3 times a day. And one of the lifeguards said, yeah, and you know, I love it because the kids aren't screaming and crying and rubbing their eyes when they go swimming, which nobody should be doing, right?
Yeah. What is the difference between bromine and chlorine? Like, why is bromine good and chlorine bad?
Well, bromine's salt.
Oh, okay.
So it's just there. It's, you know, it's natural.
It's, yeah, we're not creating it as a combination of elements. Got you.
Right.
And I actually, I don't know if this is true. Someone told me that the reason chlorine stings in a pool is because it means someone's been to the toilet in the pool and it's a reaction with your urine.
No.
So that's not true.
No.
Gotta ask the question, don't you?
Yes, yeah. And you can smell it. You know, you can't
Oh, you
really
can
smell
definitely smell it.
bromine. You
Yeah.
can smell it.
Right.
Yes.
So again, it goes back to if it doesn't smell, it's a natural. It's more likely to be a natural product if it
Yes.
doesn't smell. Got you.
Yes.
And so when you go in to work with these families, then what? So obviously you said you're very gentle. Is it always the bedroom that you focus on, or do you look at the whole house?
Well, from the bedroom, we do get talking about the rest of the house and the food. And I do have a program that goes through every room in the house, sort of in line with my book. But we're just going to focus on the bedroom now because that's easily manageable.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
But the program does go through everything from the kitchen, of course, the whole laundry story. And I have that healthy laundry hacks. And then the outdoors, then alternatives and different ways that you can get healing, and some tips on how to get healing yourself. Like there's one thing called muscle testing. I don't know if you've heard of that, but you can actually take a product and put it on your body and find out if it depletes your energy or not. So yeah, it's really quite simple and a little hard to describe here because I'm too close to the camera. But if you hold your arm and push down on it.
Okay,
Just try
yeah.
that right now, and you can hold it, right? You've got the resistance that's strong enough to hold it. Well, if you put something on your body, and you can have somebody put something against your back so you can't see what it is, and you try and do it again, and your energy may just be gone like that. You can't hold your arm up. So that's something you probably shouldn't be putting in or on your body.
Do you know what? I've got some friends who they are iridologists,
Yes.
which I don't actually entirely know what they do because it's really smart and technical. They did it to me with just where they did it touching different organs to see where I had like weaker organs. And it was amazing because I'm naturally B12 deficient. I'm now B12 deficient. I wasn't young when I was younger. I am now.
Yes.
And they diagnosed that just by doing that test, by putting different parts on and then making me push down on my arm.
Wow.
And I was like, how is this possible? But they were, spot on without knowing anything about me when they did it at the time.
Yes.
And so it's such a simple, non-intrusive way of testing, yet it highlights the weaknesses. So I didn't know. So you can do the same thing with chemicals,
products.
essentially.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So
sometimes when I go to the store, I will take the product and stick it on my chest, maybe just tuck it in here and do that thing to see if I can have it or not. Something that I really want to have, which
That's
probably is full of sugar and all kinds of other things that I shouldn't have.
but it's a really simple test, right? And
Very
that's a
simple.
really good. Yeah, I love that.
And
That
it's
is
fun.
amazing.
The family can do that together too. It can be a lot of fun.
It must be. It's almost like a game. Like, oh, that makes you weak, or that one doesn't make you weak, and have a competition between the
Yes.
family to
Yeah.
see. That is amazing. And what was it actually called again? Muscle testing.
Muscle
It's just
testing.
called.
Yes.
Right. I did not
Yeah.
know that. There we go. I have
Mm-hmm.
learned so much today.
Yeah.
So you said there's going to be another. Was it there was 60,000 in 80s 90s?
1990. Yeah.
Right.
And
And then
80,000 in
another.
2020. So that's
Right.
140. So it's probably up to 150 easily by now.
I mean, it sounds like though that basically every single thing in our homes is toxic.
Pretty well. Well, if you have solid wood,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have cottons and natural blends, metal isn't usually toxic. But it's
Okay.
usually, if you go to the periodic table, you can see the basic chemicals. It's when they're combined, and they're combined with, it's called volatile organic compounds, and they're
Right.
usually combined with some carbon and a couple of other elements, or 20 elements altogether. And of course, the plastics are all petroleum based. So,
Yeah.
we're trying to get away from even drinking out of plastic bottles, drinking our water out of plastic bottles, because the water is still sitting in there.
Yeah.
And, we know there's some statistic in my book. One company did a study of babies' umbilical cords and found that there were 120 or something chemicals in the fetus already before it was born.
Goodness. I mean, that is terrifying when you
Yeah,
think about it.
I don't want to imply that they took the umbilical cords from fetuses. I think they were taken from live children, at the time of birth. But
Yeah.
yeah, and everywhere, even the tiniest island far up north, the soil has chemicals in it. So I've got a little caveat about eating dirt, because the dirt has so many chemicals in it now.
It's the same because the whole thing with microplastics and that
Yes.
the microplastic beads are like everywhere, and it's in the fish that you eat and in the water that we drink, and
Yeah.
it makes you kind of go, well, so how do we avoid all this? Because if it's everywhere, but I suppose if we just start one step at a time,
Yes, that's
taking
that's
back
what we have to
control.
do, just one thing at a time. Yeah, somebody was telling me the other day, and I haven't checked it out, but they said there was some statistic that we ate a credit card full of plastic in a lifetime. That's not huge, I mean, and we
No,
do
but still,
adapt.
yeah. Well, but maybe we're adapting by getting asthma and B12 deficiency. I don't know,
Yeah,
It is.
so the big thing is not to get too overstressed about it. If it's radical, like I was one day, I was talking to a mortgage lender in my job, and everything just went orange. I said, I can't, I have to leave. And I had to run out of the building, and it took me about 10 minutes to get, even so I could think. And then I just went back in and got my coat and went home. But that doesn't happen to most people. And if we
Mm,
can start reducing the chemicals in our homes now, synthetic chemicals in our homes, then we have, a very strong chance of living long, healthy lives, and being able to think and be able to play and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm.
no, I think that's vital. So I'm a big I'm a big fan of white vinegar for cleaning anyway. I do
Yes.
think it solves so many things. But I know we still have other chemicals in our house for sure, because we do. If there were sort of, I don't know, three things that people could switch to, you would recommend, what would they be? Would it be
Yes.
something like white vinegar for cleaning, things like
Vinegar,
that?
baking powder. And the next thing is fragrance-free laundry. Those are the keys, really. So the fragrance-free laundry is really the number one. And I also say to people, if you've got those plugins, or you're using diffusers and stuff, you stop using. You're still going to smell it for weeks or months, depending on how long you've been using it. I have a friend who's really, really sensitive, and she was looking for an apartment, and so many that she went to see, they'd had plugins, and those plugins, they go into the wall and stay for sometimes years, depending on how
Right.
sensitive you are. So you won't have to be like in total shock and have no sense around because they'll stay there. So, and really, humans don't smell too bad. I had a boss once and he wrecked his back. So he was doing the approach of lying flat on his back and not moving for, I don't know, I think it was almost 2 weeks. And so
Gosh,
his
poor
kids
man.
were bringing him apples. And that's all he was eating was apples because they were easy to eat lying down. And eventually he started getting the pectin coming out of his skin. So, we smell what body odors we have are the result of what we put in our body. So if we're not smelling very good, it's probably because we've been eating junk food or something. I eat junk food, but just because I have this desire, but
I, what was it? It's around us, right? It's really interesting. I had this before my husband. So I think we feed our animals better than we feed ourselves. If I had to average it out,
yes,
like, and because I know we one of our animals is a dog. She doesn't smell except for when like she's been out in the mud and we haven't washed her for a while. But
yes,
no, my husband does that. But the reason she doesn't smell is we feed her this food called fish for dogs, and it's basically fish for dogs. It's in the name, and it's really good for her, and it's good for her bones and her teeth and everything else. And we've never like when she's wet, we don't get a wet dog smell.
wow,
That classic thing because uh, I believe because she has a really good diet. I mean, she
right,
has vegetables, she has fruit, she has all the right things.
yes.
Meanwhile, today I went to the supermarket and brought donuts. So,
That's
but
right. Yeah.
I do think that the problem is, as humans, we are fundamentally lazy. Like, if you
Hmm.
had to generalize, and so,
Yes.
and that's of course why these markets exist for convenience, isn't it? It's, I. Well, we don't have microwave meals because we tend to cook from scratch. But I said I will go and buy donuts, which I know aren't good for us. Or the odd takeaway because we live in a forest. It's not like we have people waiting to bring us food, but
No.
we can pick something else on the way home or something.
Yes.
Um, but like it's we as humans, I think uh, the reason we'll demise as a species because we've got lazy for the sake of convenience and we've eaten all the wrong things and used all the wrong chemicals just because it was the easy option.
Well, and also how life evolved, right? It got busier. There
Yeah,
wasn't a stay-at-home person looking after the house and everything.
yeah,
And then the advertising comes in and saying, well, if you don't do this, then you're not a very good person. So there's all these layers, and I hope it's not there in England, but one of my esthetician friends said that she has mothers bringing their 8-year-old girls and boys who are waxing the hair off their bodies.
oh my life, that
Now,
sounds
you
horrendous.
know, this is pressure from advertising.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's very difficult to overcome that, especially when we have so much social media around. And we're now in Canada, we're stopping the use of the phones in schools.
yeah.
And the children are reporting that they are doing much better as a result, but they're still going to see them after school and at recess, etc. So, educating about the impact of advertising and who's actually benefiting from it, you know.
I, I mean, uh, not to get political because I try to stay away from politics,
Yeah.
but I think I could generalize and go people in power and with money want to keep power and money, which is a normal human thing. I'm not saying
Yes.
that's good or bad, it's just the way
Mm-hmm.
it is. Um, and one of the ways to do that is to provide these easy distractions,
Yep.
which tell you have to buy things and look a certain way and be a certain thing. Again, I'm not it is what
No.
it is. It's the world we live in.
Yes.
But whereas you and I didn't have that as children, didn't have a phone, didn't have a computer, didn't have the internet. I read so much as a child, and I loved it. I played outside. I was on my
Right.
bike all the time,
Yes.
and now my goddaughter has just turned. She's turning 12 next month,
Mm-hmm.
and they parents decided to give her a phone because the school she goes to now is quite far away. She has to get a bus. She's on her own, and it's kind of the norm to have a phone, right? But
Yes.
they've hold off giving her one until the last possible moment, basically.
Yes.
I tell you, overnight she's gone from being this really engaging child to like, can I go and play my phone? Can I go and look at my phone? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what happened? But I mean, she's still a loving girl, but
Yes.
it's there. It's designed to be addictive. It's designed to hold us in,
Yeah.
and it's talk about toxicity of the mind, which, then
yes,
leads to 8-year-olds getting waxed, which is just blows my mind. That's the thing.
yes. And the last chapter in my book is called Our Spiritual Health Sets the Stage. So that's also, how we keep in balance with the world, who we are on this planet Earth, where we came from, and just building up that confidence in ourselves and that peace in ourselves, so that we can, be at peace with maybe not being like everybody else is seeming to be, because it is a change, and people might think you are weird.
There, weird is not the worst thing people can think about you, though, right?
No, exactly.
And and that, so if the therapist side of me goes, that is their problem, not my problem.
Yes,
And I think that's what we have to remember. It is
yes,
people are
and
always entitled to their opinions, but that's their problem, not ours.
yeah, it is difficult though for children, more difficult
Yeah,
for
oh,
children.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. But
So
I guess if you're creating the right foundation at home,
yes,
giving them a space where they can unwind, detoxify each day, then hopefully, in the long term at least, they'll see the benefits, as will everybody else.
yes, I think that's the case.
Amazing. How can people find you if they want to learn more, if you want to use your services, or just ask you questions?
I've got from toxic2green.com, or they can get the healthy laundry hacks. Are you going to put that link anywhere for them?
I'll
Yes.
put the link in the show notes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then, yeah, that has a link to me as well. And I think there's a link there for a 15-minute free call if they wanted to do that. Yeah.
Amazing. That sounds
Yeah.
fun. Theresa, it's been fascinating, horrifying in all the right ways. Thank you so much for sharing all of this and coming on
Yes.
today. And I appreciate the learning that you have done to help everybody else. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And just remember, don't panic. It's okay. One thing at a time is plenty.
Absolutely. Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.